Good morning, everyone. I am Emma Porio, Professor Emeritus in the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, and Rosita Leon of School of Social Sciences, Principal Investigator of Acosta Cities at Risk in the Philippines. And I am your host today. Welcome. This lecture, yeah, this lecture was conceptualized in recently and started after November, we had series of devastating floods caused by Typhoon Karina in Rizal province, by Typhoon Tito in Quezon Valley, and by Christine in the Pune River Basin. Only devastating floods, raining livelihood bases, raining human settlements and the like. So let me just, next slide please. Let me just put the context, let me paint this little series focused on natural heritage, environmental security, and its relationship to food security and real concern given the challenges of our time. In my lectures here and abroad, I always say the main crisis of our time, climate and social inequality, made exacerbated vulnerability, disadvantage was very important. Painting new vulnerabilities, especially for the poor and marginalized communities. Because also the exacerbation of these inequalities, environmental inequalities, social inequality, political economic social inequalities, is been exacerbated by COVID pandemic. Third, highlighted political economic context to conflict in the land. Next, please. So, steps I want to say, so now I just finished one week rigorous meetings and on environmental climate change in the hospital. We were these climate factors. Climate change and basically the climate support security. Next, please. So I want to say, the scientists have estimated when we are consuming resources and extracting resources from the earth, we need consumption driven lives. Let's see. Decade, hunger is resource also doubling the losses as shown by the annual floods, people floods, the personal floods. So I would say that there is a challenge for all of us, in the academia especially, that we need to naturalize the social sciences, meaning to say we are innovating food security and biodiversity, connect with ecological foundations why we are dealing with risk and only disadvantage of climate businesses. This is messaging we have to socialize lives and not close finances. So then what I call the way from being about people this solutions given with the systems. Let's look. The man who faces climate disasters. So as the benefits were highly exposed and vulnerable needs, social and physical infrastructures, driving regulates associated processes. Challenges for community resilience then, like food security, not all, international Philippines, not the social services. These are the challenges that the community resilience to provide opportunities and sustainable investments. And finally, the food guidance. Person city as an example. Next, please. I was putting it as my next slide. You look at the milk clinics of Philippine and Metro Manila, you can see 2050 has in Manila where the coastal inundation of Metro Cebu in 2050 salt water pollution more than 2 kilometers recognize the mountains already. So if you the sea level rise, so temporary communities like you or the suffering from sea level rise, we are sinking 3 times the range. Sometimes and the other reason why the biggest iceberg in Antarctica launch is Venus, Finland. That's why, oh my God, people in like Valley City High School, when the sea level went down by girls, the children have things at the table. Same others things. That's it. So that's why this is the start of the series. We're having some really big people in this distinguished group of students. Let's see. So now we're back to it. So the Olympics started basically with not with reinforcing work structure. How it set with tools, the magnetic, with availability of the people. One natural voltage and climate we had violin before violin missing. Then we have food garden, and seniors. And background, which is taking charge of environment, culture, and food heritage. And then we're digging with people because I believe, look at the evidence that we have to back to how we should sustain food security by looking at the thank you very much. I'd like to look at the here you see, incoming chair and director of IPC. Senior.
Thank you, Dr. Porio. Dean Sarina Siloma Pedano of the Dr. Rosita Leong School of Social Sciences, distinguished speakers, panelists, and conveners, esteemed colleagues, students, and guests, good morning, and welcome to this important conversation on food gardens and community resilience, part of the Ateneo de Manila lecture series on climate, society, and culture. We launched this lecture series to create a space for critical discussions on how climate change intersects with society and culture. The climate crisis, after all, is not just an environmental issue. It is a social and cultural one, affecting livelihoods, food security, and everyday life. While much of the discourse focuses on policy and science, which are very important, by the way, we also need, nonetheless, to examine how communities respond, how social structures shape resilience, and how local knowledge contributes to adaptation. This series aims to bridge these perspectives and explore ways forward. Today's conversation highlights one such response: food gardens. More than just sources of nourishment, food gardens foster self-sufficiency, sustainability, and collective action. In the face of climate uncertainty, they serve as vital spaces where communities build resilience by sharing knowledge, reclaiming agency, and strengthening social ties. This discussion is a collaboration between the Dr. Rosita G. Leong School of Social Sciences, the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, and Houston Cities at Risk in the Philippines, reflecting our shared commitment to engage interdisciplinary scholarship. We are honored today to have with us distinguished speakers who bring valuable insights into today's discussion. Dr. Teresita Atienza, President of Quezon City University, whose leadership in education and community engagement is shaping local resilience efforts. Mr. Francis Ian Nagatep, Acting Division Chief of the Climate Change Adaptation Division, Climate Change and Environmental Sustainability Department of the Quezon City Government, who will share perspectives on governance and climate adaptation strategies. We also recognize our panelists who will further enrich this discussion. Dr. Mary Rosales, research scientist at the Institute of Philippine Culture, and Melissa Quetulio Navarro, chair of the Department of Sociology and Anthropology, whose work and advocacy on community participation and social justice offer a crucial lens on grassroots resilience. We applaud and thank, of course, our conveners, Dr. Emma Corio, Professor Emeritus, and Dr. Tanya Uldin, Associate Professor, whose expertise and long-standing commitment to engaged scholarship make this dialogue possible. As we proceed with this undertaking, we hope to gain not only a deeper understanding of food gardens as climate adaptation strategy, but also insights into how we can support and expand these initiatives for greater community resilience. With that, I welcome you all and I look forward to a meaningful and productive discussion. Thank you.
As keynote speaker, Dr. Teresa Atienza represented a long line of experience in academic leadership and community leadership in teaching. The four levels of three layers, in fact, of engagement. Yes, and I mean, like, that's what we I say that we are very happy that we have two people, the president, Quezon State University, which basically becomes gardens movement. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for the very short introduction. I value my role as president of Quezon City University so much, and I believe the two-page bio now really prepared me for this job. Um, it's very a story of different agriculture initiatives in Quezon City. Quezon City University. I don't think it's difficult from the story that we have immersed in from day one of the Quezon City overall. First, our story began in 2010 um, with the joy of urban farming. Then, our now Mayor Joy Belmonte was vice mayor of Quezon City, and he launched the project Joy of Urban Farming. And as vice mayor, the project was supposed to reduce poverty and improve the nutrition of urban residents. That was just the objective of Joy of Urban Farming. And reduce poverty and provide nutrition for urban residents, particularly solo parents and women, no? In partnership with the Barangay Council. Please encourage our citizens now to produce the vegetables on their table. If there's more that they produce, they can sell. Then, then she became mayor in 2019. And by March 2020, we were in lockdown for the pandemic. There was fire and food insecurity because produce from the north, no? Vegetables from the north couldn't come in to the metro Quezon City. And that's basically the source of vegetables and fruits that we are using. We were also, the mayor was then also distributing food in like areas, hot orders food, food, rice and canned goods. So when we said in one of our meetings, she said, the people of Quezon City will be malnourished if we continue to do this. So we must enhance our community farms. We must be secure in producing our own food. Hence, we had part of the COVID-19 recovery plan was to address this food security and nutrition by promoting urban agriculture and improving our food systems. So she released Executive Order 32, which was, if you see, was signed in the middle of the pandemic. But then also we were my assistant and I were actually computing how much we were spending because the NEDA report said we actually spent over 1 billion for testing and the Toyota research that we were distributing. Actually, it was less than 1 billion. It was less than 500 million that we were spending, we were giving. Because in that movement from Manila, Quezon City was the largest in terms of land area and population, with over 3 million population. So, 2020, QC food security campaign was launched. No? And the food security task force made up of Quezon City University, head of urban farming, head of climate change and adaptation. So even in food security, it was all hands on deck for us in Quezon City. The campaign was beyond setting up urban farms, but achieve food secure and self-reliant city through the development of better food systems. So PLC was in charge of establishing social zones for urban agriculture, then for food processing zone. But in 2020, with the engagement was still assessment of their capabilities. This is the inclusive framework now. It was intended to create a food secure urban system. Well, urban agriculture was a top-line approach, urban agriculture and food trade and processing. And so in food agriculture, we were establishing gardens that indeed farming gardens would actually joy of urban planning. And then community gardens headed by uh, community garden initiative was around public employment and services office using Society University. And then we have institutional gardens, gardens that are heavily supported by the Quezon City government. We have large gardens near the university that were supported by the church, by the Catholic Church now. And then agricultural, we established agricultural zones in areas where houses cannot be built because they are flooded, you know. And then there was food trade, no? Food trading, in partnership with small business and cooperative unit, we established client QC, which was intended to give starting capital to nano and micro businesses in the city that will make use of the produce of our urban farms. This is 7-point action plan of QC. You will notice, as mentioned, there's urban agriculture and on the other side is food system. We have focused our attention to urban agriculture. Now we're doing the food system. We're looking at food residue as part of the project in Quezon City where the leftover food from restaurants and establishments could be collected. This is partly the way forward for those food. They could be collected and distributed to communities that could not food, no? And then we hope to have food processing zone and food trade as well. The ongoing programs of Group QC are the community and model farms. We have New Greenland Urban Farm District. That's all the way from Cayapas area. That's even because we cannot build homes in this area because we usually inundated by floods. No? And then Sunnyvale Urban Farm is about 1.2 hectares. Some of our students do their national service training program in Sunnyvale Urban Farm. And Kigali Urban Farm is Cruz Naligas, very near Ateneo here in PUP. There's Banyak Urban Farm and these farms. Not mentioned here is Sharon Town. Sharon Town is about 5,500 square meters of farm is supported by the Diocese of Religious. It's a church-based camp, and most of the students serve this urban farm by the second semester of their national service training program. We visit the farm that the plants that are assigned to Californians, LGBT, Quezon City University, and SKT students, military officers in the area. It's run by the Municipal Organization in partnership with local barangay officials. And then QC supports suburban community by providing it with modern technology. As you can see on the slides here in the picture, we provide greenhouses for group QC and project of urban farming. We also buy the vegetables produced by our community farms. And in one of the projects submitted, which was Human Health Month, last year's finalists did not, unfortunately, did not win because it was not in competition with another Quezon City government project, which was QC work registration online. But one of the project on Human Health Month would mean women, mothers donating milk. And milk month, so it's going to be used by children whose mothers cannot provide them milk because they're sick, they're indisposed, or things like that. What we did during the pandemic was buy the produce of our urban farms and give this to the mothers who will be donating milk to our milk month. Also, the City government bought the produce from our urban farms and use this for also teaching community colleges. Right? So we promote urban farms and its environments and produce and made in QC product. We have a PQC, we call it PQC. It's actually the original products of Quezon City. We have the original product of Quezon City. So we are food products and some unique ones. But we also support urban farms. Agriculture supports and sponsors agriculture and economics from our individual farm was tilapia and fish people. Livelihood also for the nearby communities. We are into mix and hydroponics and we provide infrastructure and capacity building for this. Lastly, QC provides food trade. So QC spearheads the DIWAP program, the Department of Agriculture's the DIWAP program in Quezon City. Our own owners association hosts the DIWAP program every other Friday. Okay, we're now produced sold in the communities. It's regular in Quezon City as well. And for all of these efforts, 2021, you see, branded by urban farming, City University's um, Center for Urban Agriculture and Innovation was awarded, was the award. Another initiative, another agency, another department of Quezon City government that is into urban agriculture, Quezon City Public Employment Services Limited. Mandate of the Public Employment Services Office is to provide temporary employment for displaced workers. There were so many displaced workers during COVID-19, especially part-time waiters in restaurants, those who work as borders in the restaurants that are in Quezon City, lost their employment during the pandemic. And so it was Quezon the Public Employment Services Office that provided temporary jobs for them. It also provided temporary jobs for the underemployed and the unemployed under its employment promotion and generation programs. They were fired as firehands they were hired as farmhands and ran many community farms that were established. So Peso establishing community farms alongside Rock QC in the urban farming. QC was providing the training, no? Then Peso employed and folks were unemployed and underemployed as farmhands. So we even have um, roving farmers. I call it in Filipino, it's called Sasitang. Since they were roving farmers, they would go to communities that did not have farmers, that did not have individuals who would really take care of the farm. But we call them roving farmers who was Manila and Peso. So framework, operational framework for Peso is actually organized urban farm communities. We even organize a community to establish the partnership in collaboration and trainings that we not the community trainings first, no? Then we establish urban farm where you will see that's organizing it, Joy of Urban Farming, giving the seedlings, Quezon City University, going to the site or bringing them to the university for training. Then they are trained and they establish their community farms. We help them with the produce. We establish cooperatives for them. We provide training as far as financial literacy and entrepreneurship. That we hope that we develop sustainable and resilient communities. So this piece of organized farms are now numbering 1,439 in the group. As a review of what we have done since June 2024, there are 184,039 square meters of productive land in the city. How did we do this productive land? There's an ordinance now in Quezon City. If you have an idle land, you are taxed 3% in addition to your property tax because it's idle. So if you have an idle land, then you submit it to Quezon City and say, well, you can use it as community farm. Then you do not have, then you pay only 1.5% idle land. That's how we go. We went to subdivisions that had no that had working rights, and we would organize farms there. The gated subdivisions that have a lot of idle lands, they did not have farmers. We said what's sa Patanguila for the roving farmers there. But we have actually 25,000, almost 36,000 urban farmers in the 1,439 urban farms and gardens. We have provided over 45,000 seed starter kits in seedlings. We have distributed still growing 23,000 fingerlings. My own backyard, I grow catfish, 50 fingerlings, sitaw, at a time. So every 5 months, I have batch of people that I bring to the university for our lunch. Yeah, and send to my neighbors. So, and then we have 96 agriculture aquaponics units distributed. We have served and still growing 450,000 meals. Our Kadiwang food trade so far has been worth 1.3 million. Quezon City University. I think most of you in this hall would have just heard Quezon City University today. It's a very local university of Quezon City government. We actually have three campuses. Our main campus is located in Novaliches. It's a 4.5-hectare campus. Our current population is 10,691. 9,778 of them are indigent and eligible for stipend from Quezon City government. Our government provides stipend for scholars, 5,000 pesos per semester. Tuition fee is free, all subsidized by free higher education in Quezon City government. we have this is during the pandemic, Mayor Joy has provided 9,250 on your students so that there's learning continuity. We now have 10 programs in engineering, accountancy, entrepreneurship, and education. Um, that's your local university. I said earlier, who Quezon City University, the youth of Quezon City who not their fault cannot enter Ateneo in UP and Miriam. Uh, our accounting, our first batch of accountancy graduates produced an 11 case. So, and our engineering students, our electrical engineering students will go to Dallas, Texas this May to represent the country in the VEX robotics competition. And we know that this is really going to change the lives of the six engineering students of Quezon City. So let me focus now on the Center for Urban Agriculture and Innovation. Um, well, our other campus is below Batasan, and an extension campus is very near SM North EDSA, in the San Francisco School Division Office compound. So, Quezon City, we sat with Quezon City University Center for Urban Agriculture in 2021. As you see, we were still in the midst of the pandemic then, by virtue of Border Solution 14. The aim of promoting urban agriculture as a measure to address stability of food supply and protect the environment through eco-friendly methods and alternative and innovative gardening methods. Um, I remember the first time I met Mayor Joy on my election as president. And and there were two things that we talked about. Dr. Tere, you have a very good auditorium in Novaliches, but who's going to go there with the heavy traffic? I said, maybe we will build it, they will come, and it has been used by the Commission on Higher Education for its programs. And now we're using an auditorium. The second one was, what do we do for the environment? Um, I'm sorry, this could be very patronizing, but I'm really proud of our mayor, and you should be because she's a woman for others, a graduate of Ateneo. She's the U- she's the United Nations Environmental Program Champion of the Earth, uh, awarded last year. So the second thing that she asked me was, so what will the university's role be? I want you to be at the ecosystem, of, to be at the core of the ecosystem of Quezon City government. So I said, we'll put up a Center for Urban Agriculture and Innovation in that fateful meeting in October, and I haven't even assumed office yet. And so in 2021, we established the Center for Urban Agriculture. So how did we set it up? We got a grant from the Department of Agriculture, Agriculture Training Institute. We got a 14 million grant from the DA to put up all of this infrastructure for a Center for Urban Agriculture. Our vision for the center is to achieve positive social impact through urban agriculture and innovation. When we were doing the visioning, they asked me, how do we measure positive social impact? I said positive social impact would be in the economic growth of the community that we serve. It will be in the environment, it should be measured in how the environmental landscape would be changed by the community farms that we will help, no? And by the social spaces that our community farms will produce, would engender. To my mind, it was Laudato Si, really from the start. It was Laudato Si, the care for our own common home. to collaborate and mobilize our community in response to the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. So this is what we have been, um, that that's our true north, as we say. That was the true north. We had to answer for the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. We cannot be deaf to this. That's our Laudato Si. Our mission is to be the hub of urban agriculture and innovation and initiatives to achieve sustainable development goals. Have we achieved the mission? Last year, our first international foray, we got the Times Higher Education Impact Ranking on Sustainable Development Goal. The first local university to get impact ranking. Matunao was the highest ranked university at 400. With 400 on the average. Some of the SDGs, you actually scored 200, no? But the average was 400. QCU's score impact ranking was 800 in peace and order in infrastructure. Overall, we were in the 1,500 plus ranking from 2,300. To date, we submitted again for 2025. And there are now more schools, more universities in the Philippines that have submitted. So you see, Ateneo has inspired so many. And we hope, as far as the local colleges and universities are concerned, that we have inspired others because I heard there are 126 who have submitted. Last year, there were only 62 of us, 67 of us, and only 50 plus were ranked, no? Others were reporter status. So, and the Center for Urban Agriculture and Innovation has been instrumental um, for us getting that impact ranking. We, this is our strategic framework in the center. We do research and development. Our core really is training, action and business development because we have entrepreneurship and it's the biggest program in the university, Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. We have even provided college education to female in the female dorm of Quezon City for women who are incarcerated. So we have graduated 19 and we have established an urban farm in the fourth floor of the female dorm inside Camp Greenang. So it's not possible to create your own urban farms here in Ateneo. We do partnerships and collaboration. Mainly, that's where we mainly get our funds. No, in, in training, we have organized programs to equip individuals with skills for sustainable urban agriculture and agripreneurship in collaboration with our academic and extension office. Of the 3,000 freshmen in the university every year, 700 of them we have organized to enroll in the ROTC program, but over 2,000 of them are in NSTP, National Service Training Program. And for the second term, they always do urban agriculture. So they go to the many community farms in the city and work alongside the community. Also, that's our service learning program. They teach financial literacy and entrepreneurship to the community. No? So it's um, learning and then bringing them that learning to the community, and we believe they learn better that way. And then also part of the training is that we serve as hub for urban farm models for our various stakeholders. So we entertain a lot of guests in the university to look at our farm models. We provide trainings and demos that enable the university to mainstream urban agriculture into the curriculum of the programs. You see, it's not just community. A part of our community is not just the barangays around the university or the barangays of the Quezon City. Our community are our own students who also live in these barangays. So that's also how we mainstream urban agriculture to them. We have requested the Department of Science and Technology because we do not have agriculture in our program. We have requested an RD lead mentor for us. And when we were being matched with the former chancellor of UPNB, he said, was so
it was such a compliment for us. He said, you know, Dr. Tere, the enrollment in agriculture in UPLB is actually decreasing. And I really wonder why your university is so interested in their kids. Your students are into urban agriculture because we have mainstream urban agriculture into the curriculum. So our engineering students' capstone projects are urban agriculture. That's where they apply the technology. Our IT students' capstone project is maybe to some of them. I have challenged them to do um, green technology for urban agriculture, smart greenhouses, uh, through IT. So would like to believe that we support the development of Quezon City into the smart and sustainable city that we all dream of. So as an example, this is a project of our student. This is drip irrigation. Now, on Friday, we will receive the Water Warrior Award from Maynilad on World Water Day for water education. Because our students did this, our engineering students did the drip technology. This conserves water because you do not have to water the plants. Um, the pipes are laid down underground and water is released underground. So there's no water that will go to evaporation. It goes directly to the roots of the plants. So our services, we have demo farms for our communities, institutional trainings, agricultural research and development, extension related services. We have input to agri-entrepreneur course. Right now, we're working on a business school program so that we can teach our market vendors, on how to handle food. And also when they are handling food, their suki, no, the usual patrons of their vegetables and their market goods, no, will also be taught nutrition. We're doing a module, a Filipino contextualized module for vendor business school. Uh, and that's our input for agri-entrepreneur course. The strawberries that you see there are actually grown in the university. So we inaugurated the DE sponsored facility last March 1, 2024. We have our open raised bed farms, no? That's we do not use fertilizers. These are organic farms, and you see how big our lettuce has grown, our pechay has grown. This is our commercial greenhouse. We can produce 10 kilograms of kale. So we're trying to market this and be able uh to supply restaurants on a daily basis, no? And then this is our hydroponics. So we've tried to grow Lowland strawberry. This is the Sweet Charlie variety. Um, Using drip technology, drip irrigation, and in our smart greenhouses. They're rather small. They're red and they're sweet. No, one of our board of regents representing the private sector said if you can grow them as big and as red and as sweet as the ones from Japan and Korea, I will invest in your technology. So that's, I think, a goal that we want to see our students to be able to achieve. We also have, as we mentioned, we also have our aquaculture. We have water tanks there. We grow tilapia and catfish. Uh, we sell it in our online marketplace. Uh, So, in research and development, we believe we do cutting edge research in urban farming. These are your black soldier flies. We are studying the larva of black soldier flies. It's supposed to help solid waste management, no? For solid waste management. We're doing this under a program of the Department of Science and Technology, no? So we got a 1 million grant from DOST to grow the larva and experiment on the black soldier fly. So with forge partnerships, this, like, this is my last one. We forge partnerships with communities, government, NGO. As you can see on the picture, on your on your left is actually a group from Taiwan, from Shung Taiwan, Agrigaya. We were hoping to partner with them to establish their mini smart greenhouses in the university that is weatherproof as well. And then from government agencies, Mom, the priest, I think the one in the hut look like priest. And then of course, women from Papua New Guinea, we hosted them. They were from East West Center, because they were engaging in a community project in agriculture as well. So they wanted to learn how we were going to do this. The last of the strategic framework is production and business development. You see, these are farm produce, very short shelf life. So we have to turn them into products that can be sold by the community. So we collaborate with academic sector to create innovative agriculture products, um, support urban farmers in market access. Our dream really is to be the official bagsakan or DPON with the community farms in the city, and then for our students to manage the logistics, no, the value chain for them, and so that we can just pay them after we sell it to businesses in the city. So, the center is not free from challenges. We are still challenged by sustainability. We'd like to see that we are self-reliant, so we cannot rely on government funds all the time. We hope we can upscale the farms and establish markets for trading. That's why we tried to talk with Soler North so that we can supposedly organize the produce of the farms and send it to them, no? So, but I think it's too ambitious because they need 1,700 kilos of tomatoes on a daily basis. I did not know we eat that much tomato, but they said all the food types would have tomato. Okay. So continuous resource mobilization and capacity building of our urban farm communities. And for next steps, we'd like to engage in more public-private partnerships, enhance collaboration with even more government agencies. We have not tapped the Department of Trade and Industry so far. Um, we'd like to further strengthen cooperation with various departments of Quezon City government. We partner with PESO, we partner with Joy of Urban Farming, we partner with climate change department. But there are more departments that we have to partner with. Um, Offhand, it's the business permit and licensing division so that we can connect to the businesses in the city and sell and help sell the produce of our farmers. And of course, improve the research capability of our students and our faculty in the university. So I hope you will find the time to visit Quezon City University. Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tere. We awarded actually Dr. Tere from the ISU Center Scholars Association for basically hosting the ISU Center Scholars from Pacific, Asia Pacific, and you hosted it in her during the Urban Gardens. Okay. Thank you very much, Mayor Tere. Uh, Dr. Tere, thank Joy that in Garingpo for administrating for the past 30 years in the National Selection Committee. Quezon City is our north as a champion of excellence in local governance. In fact, I brought the 60 scholars and 9 faculty of Science Po Paris, governing large metropolis. I took them to Payatas to show how a city can renovate a dump site into a park and site of environmental sustainability and security. So thank you very much. I know that I think I have validated around 7 gallery pop projects in there. So thank you very much. We're very proud. Darling, we're very proud of our graduates. I know that after getting the AD Social Sciences in the Department of Social Anthropology, she proceeded to get MA in Archaeology. And in fact, she was recognized by her school in Europe for starting the Katipunan archaeology. And I remember talking to Mayor Sunny. His father is also interested in archaeology and things like that. So tell her, thank you very much for all these initiatives, because I know also in the global network of innovative and transformative cities, Quezon City is the only member of the C40 cities in the Philippines. C40 cities started as 45 innovative cities all over the world. Now I think they have, increased to 25, and still there's only Quezon City from the Philippines. So congratulations to Ray and all the people from Quezon City. I think the CCEDRR network of Quezon City LG is very good, because I remember during the time of the Payatas renovation, the section of Andrea was only Center for Environment or something like that. But now you can see it in the title of our next speaker. I'm very thankful to our next speaker, because he came when I invited Mayor Joy for the launch of our book in Manila Observatory on climate vulnerability and disaster risk assessment of Metro Cebu. And I wanted to engage the local governments in looking at maps and using the risk profiling as a way of investing their disaster risk. So thank you very much. So our next speaker is Mr. Ayan Agapit, and he's the chair of the, I'm having to, this is the paper. Okay. Mr. Ayan Agapit is the, I'm looking for your title, this is very long. Is I'm looking at the other, is the acting division head of the climate adaptation section and the climate change division and environmental sustainability. So you can see, Quezon City is also our partner in the National Resilience Council on the Project Transform, and they have really done their renovated, I would say, reconfigure the whole energy system to be climate change responsive, climate adaptive, and transformative in terms of preparedness, adaptation, and transformation for climate change. So, Ayan, thank you very much for coming here and for representing the mayor. And we're really grateful for all the innovations that the Climate Change Division and Climate Adaptation and Sustainability Division has done. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you for that, Doc Emma. Okay. For this afternoon na po. Sige, I'll follow tight script para maka-lunch tayo. Sige. Okay. No worries. Pag next ko ba ito, mag-next ka. Okay. Sige. Esteemed professors, advocates of sustainability, and fellow Athenians, good morning. So it's nice to be back. Just a brief background, DS 2013 So this building is very much familiar, and the people around are close to home. Food is meant to fuel every aspect of life, reflecting the best of our culture and bringing us together despite differences. Here in Quezon City, it is present in our food districts, neighborhood eateries, office and school canteens, weekend community fairs and festivals. It is present in the aromas of adobo and sinigang and other dishes that we adopted from other cultures in every hearty meal that we share with one another. This picture here is from the 2024 Maginhawa Arts and Food Festival that was just held last December. Quezon City is a vibrant metropolis, a melting pot of cultures and innovation. Like any other city, we have markets and talipapas holding centers of commerce in the smallest scale. But also, like many urban centers, we face significant challenges in ensuring access to healthy, affordable, and sustainably produced food for our millions of residents. Traditional linear food systems, which take, make, consume, and discard, put immense pressures on resources and contribute to waste and impact in our environment. With quick figures that you can see here, we actually have only 8 city-owned public markets in the city. And it's been like that for quite some time already. But we want to grow it even more, but we have 32 private markets. Recognizing the urgency of this crisis in relation to our climate, our City Council declared a climate emergency in 2019, which led to allocating as much as 13% in 2019 and now 21% by 2023 of our annual budget focused on climate change adaptation and mitigation. And that's why the Climate Change Environmental Sustainability Department was born and making Quezon City the first to do so in the Philippines. As the only Philippine member of the C40 cities, Quezon City gains technical assistance, peer-to-peer exchange, and valuable research. With C40's help, we updated local climate change action plan to address our specific needs to protect the most vulnerable from climate change threat. Guided by our evidence and commitment to green futures, we aim to reduce emissions by 30% by 2030 and achieve net zero by 2050. We also aim to strengthen the resilience of our ecosystems and communities against climate change. Further, the Quezon City government has made a conscious and deliberate effort towards sustainable development while addressing climate change from a local perspective since 2019. Our roadmap is the Enhanced Local Climate Change Action Plan, which highlights the city's commitment to ambitious climate action that delivers mitigation, adaptation, equitable benefits to all citizens aligned with the goals of the Paris Agreement. The development itself of the plan was supported by C40 Cities, C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. Under the enhanced LCCAP are 7 priority themes, which include food security and ecosystem and environmental sustainability. However, the system that sustains food faces immense challenges. To understand these challenges on sustainable consumption and food systems, we must understand food and nutrition at its core. In 2024, the study of the State Food Security and Nutrition by the Food and Agriculture Organization or FAO reports that between 713 to 757 million people may have faced hunger in 2023. Alarmingly, Asia is still home to the largest chunk of these figures, with 384.5 million people affected. Moreover, the prevalence of undernutrition is projected to reach 582 million by 2030. Here in the Philippines, this heartbreaking reality is also concerning because 25.9% of Filipino families experience being hungry and not having anything to eat at least once in the past 3 months, based on the SWS survey last January. This is the highest since the pandemic, recorded at 30.7% in 2020. Through the City Health Department efforts, the city conducts annual anthropometric measures for children in the city, and it is translated into a heat map, proper nutrition sensitive and nutrition specific programs. This annual data focuses on food and health interventions that must go to our most vulnerable communities. This is why Quezon City has embraced the circular economy as a guiding principle for food system. With understanding of health and nutrition needs, we were able to have an idea of the demand and what food sources can benefit in our communities. You will see here that the ones that are orange or red are in the upper areas of Quezon City. This is District 2. You might be familiar of Batasan Hills, Commonwealth, Payatas. They're the areas that we also help in our communities. So imagine a system where resources are valued, waste is minimized, and every input finds a purpose. From farm to fork and back again, we are working to close the loop, creating a more resilient and sustainable way to feed our city. So let's watch this quick clip from our C40 Cities partnership on Quezon City's new Greenland Farm.
Kailangan naman lahat ng trabaho ay from the heart para maayos ang kinalabasan.
Take one.
This is Tatay Sablay, farmer and vice president of GrowQC.
Guru, you cannot believe it, at the age of 74, I'm still with the soil. First of all, ay naging healthy pa ako. Kasi open area, fresh air, at saka yung sunlight pag umaga, talagang nagbibigay ng lakas pa sa'yo, nagdadagdag. Ay ang role namin ay para lalo pang lumakas o kaya mapaganda ang programang urban farming dito sa Quezon City initiated by our mayor.
Well, that was not in your guide question, so I don't...
And this is Joy Belmonte, 11th mayor of Quezon City.
Being mayor is something I love. You can interact with so many different types of people, and you are in a position to not just listen to them, but make their dreams come true. There are many challenges, but I view these challenges as in a way positive because it helps us to innovate.
45% of the Philippines' urban population live in places with weak infrastructure, extremely vulnerable to flooding and typhoons.
Ang laki talaga ng epekto for how many days na hindi kami makaapak sa taniman namin.
GrowQC is helping vulnerable people earn an income, gain access to local affordable food, reduce agricultural emissions, and build resilience against climate impacts and extreme weather.
At kung mayroon ka mang counting lote doon sa inyong bahay, pwede mong i-develop yan. Sa aming farmers dito ay napakalaking tulong sa programa ng ating mahal na mayor, especially noong panahon ng kung wala itong mga taniman, we cannot supply food.
Green jobs provide income to our people. They care for the environment, they conserve the environment, they protect the environment.
By planting, we are also contributing to the good of our environment. Kaya malaking tulong talaga ang programang GrowQC. For me, I'm happy. Hindi ako makapatapos ng pag-aaral, kaya ipinagmamalaki ko yun. I'm proud to be a son of a farmer.
Everybody has slowly made urban farming in Quezon City a way of life. Now they say, nararamdaman na namin, meaning we feel the love of the city in our lives. And that's the most beautiful thing that any mayor can hear.
Mayor Joy's vision is not just a local aspiration. It's deeply rooted in our engagement with global commitments as we seek the best models that will elevate our city's action. We are proud to be active members of the C40 Cities Good Food Accelerator, the Sustainable Waste Systems Network, and a signatory of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. These affiliations provide us with invaluable knowledge on sharing, technical assistance, and framework for an ambitious action for inclusive climate. Our participation in the C40 Cities Good Food Accelerator has been instrumental in shaping our sustainable food strategy. As part of the accelerator, cities develop and implement policies that promote the global planetary health diet. Thankfully, this is called the Pinggang Pinoy, wherein at least half of your plate should be made up of nutritious foods and vegetables. More importantly, we have key policies that enable this kind of environment. This is part of our aspirations here in Quezon City, wherein social welfare is our topmost priority, which inevitably includes nutrition and health programs. For instance, we have support for nutrition for mothers and newborns in the first 1,000 days program, wherein interventions for malnourished children and observing a healthy diet initiative for our school children is paramount. We likewise implement a healthy public food procurement policy, which mandates that all meals served at City Hall and other public facilities must be nutritionally balanced and made from whole and fresh foods. The tone of the mayor here is no public funds must go to unhealthy food. Recently, we also passed a calorie labeling ordinance, which provides that all restaurants, fast food chains, and food establishments in Quezon City state the calorie count per serving on their menu. This will roll out by the end of the year. These allow for an environment where our few citizens are enabled to create informed choices about their diets while we support them by supporting our own local farmers. We are also proud to be partners with CGIAR Resilient Cities, International Research Institute, on two pioneering initiatives that enhance our practices regarding food systems. First, the Joy of Urban Farming program, which is supported also by the city, provides livelihood for more than 35,975 of our citizens and a steady supply of produce from over 1,000 urban farms and gardens around the city. We collaborated with CGIAR to educate our urban farmers on nutrient-dense vegetable production so that they would be equipped with the knowledge on climate resilience indigenous crops. These are native vegetables such as talino, cabi, and malunggay, all of which can grow despite extreme weather conditions. To date, the city works with 1,439 urban gardens and farms. So it is a constant growing number because the mayor really pushes for this year on year. With evidence-based solutions such as this, we have been able to take our focus on urban agriculture to the next level. We champion local urban production within our communities to the Barangay Contra Gutom program, which recorded a harvest of over 44,000 kilograms of fruits and vegetables across our community and urban farms last year. This initiative inspired the Philippines Department of Interior Local Government to institute a similar program as well. You might know this as HAPAG. Last November 2024, we invited 2,500 daycare children and their mothers to take part of our Give Food Fiesta activity, wherein we introduced children as young as 4 to 6 years old to actual urban farms in the city and make them appreciate how food is grown. Because how many people actually know where their food comes from? To ensure that none of this valuable harvest actually goes to waste and these produce are taken care of, we brought the cost to our public market. And this is the second program of CGIAR called the Vendor Business School. Through this partnership, Quezon City is the first in Asia to implement this initiative and only the second around the world. The first was in Kenya. This program means so much to us because in line with the need for sustainable food markets and inclusive food networks, our city is able to address our own vendors within the city. For our inaugural batch, we have 108 public market vendors who went through a 10-week intensive training program that covered topics on food safety, ethics, entrepreneurship, seasonality, and climate change. Nearly a third of them are women. Our vendors now understand how to manage demand and determine which fruits and vegetables are best sold during what season. This allows them to adapt to market conditions, educate buyers about which produce is best, and even provide enough information to customers on health and nutrition benefits as well. We also recognize that food waste is a significant challenge and is a lost resource. In our involvement in the C40 City Sustainable Waste Systems Network helps the city drive innovative solutions for waste management, including the diversion of food waste from landfills, as well as just transition for informal waste workers. We find ways to reduce food waste and source sustainably produced food. Through this collaboration, we not only have gained insights into best practices from around the world, but also strengthened our commitment, ambitious targets set forth in our local climate change action plan. For instance, the youth of Barangay Commonwealth introduced an initiative called Rescue Food Basket Program, where surplus fruits like bananas, apples, and oranges, and other vegetables, I hope more native fruits too, be rescued from the nearby public market and redirected towards the barangay's feeding and nutrition program. We are now replicating the model set by our young leaders in order to lessen food waste in other barangays. We strive to do the same in our public markets, partnering with Scholars of Sustenance Philippines, a food rescue organization to engage more establishing and rescuing food surplus. Their office is now in 72 Maayusin, near Teachers Village. The city employs various composting methods to cater to the needs of its citizens. Aside from traditional composting activities, this allows our communities to adapt to the kind of food waste processing that will benefit them the most. And this compost then proceeds to the many urban gardens and farms of the city. In our Market Development and Administration Department, we have rapid composters to process leftover fruit and vegetable peelings, fish innards, and the like. The city's Door of Urban Farming program makes use of Bunkashi bins for food waste in our city hall. Finally, we engage our communities directly with the use of biogas digesters to process household waste. The use of bio-waste converters as a technology was first started in 2022 in our Kamuning public market. And the success of this was to process market waste to actually push more of our markets to do the same. The final product of the rapid composter is actually a soil conditioner that is transported to the city's urban gardens and farms. It is this organic waste recirculation supplies our urban gardens with much needed agriculture input, and in turn gives the city a healthy supply of green leafy vegetables, which can be harvested within 30 to 45 days. These efforts on championing food governance, sustainable diets and nutrition, linking food production, supply, distribution, and food, and pass the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact's Framework for Action, which follows 44 indicators for a sustainable food system. Our membership in the MUFPP provides us with this comprehensive framework, incorporating all aspects of food systems from production, distribution, to consumption, and waste management. The PAC's principles guide our policy development and engage a multi-stakeholder approach, bringing together government agencies, businesses, civil society organizations, and our citizens. To date, Quezon City alone, through the leadership of the city mayor, is the only city in the Philippines who has signed the pact. The city's food gardens or urban farms only show a glimpse of what is a complicated web and nexus of what food and climate has to offer. But by building on our local policies, matched with the city's international commitments, we are able to reap benefits of a circular and sustainable food system. By promoting local production and reducing reliance on long supply chains, we are building a more food self-reliant city that can better withstand disruptions. We are diverting food waste from landfills, which reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and promoting sustainable agriculture that protect natural resources. Improved public health means increased access to fresh, nutritious food that contributes to healthier diets and reduces the burden of non-communicable diseases. In the end, we continue to pursue shared economic opportunities by supporting local urban farmers and developing new circular economy models and creating good green jobs that strengthen our local economy. While we have made significant strides, we acknowledge that the building of a truly sustainable and circular food system is an ongoing journey. We face challenges such as scaling up successful initiatives, changing consumption patterns, and ensuring equitable access to healthy food for our residents is something that we have to face. We are blazing these trails with a clear understanding that there is still so much to do with regards to sustainable food systems, especially in the context of climate challenges. Philippines stands vulnerable to these intersecting concerns as typhoons and weather disturbances grow stronger, wreaking havoc across our communities. Last year alone, we saw this devastating impact outside the capital as towns and cities south of Metro Manila suffered the worst flooding it has seen in decades, blocking access from these areas and destroying infrastructure, houses, and farms, among others. While unprecedented extreme heat suspended classes for the first time. We are now working on a comprehensive food systems master plan and roadmap that will chart our short and long-term goals to achieve a food sufficient and self-reliant city. This is an opportunity where this active community can be a part of. Academic research should be part of a city's development goal and it translated to sound policies and programs. We are proud to say that the city's efforts on sustainable food systems were recognized through the Galing Po Awards in 2021 with the Grow QC program and the Department of Health's Healthy Filipinas Awards in 2022. And for the intersection of all the initiatives on environmental sustainability, the city mayor was the first Filipino elected official to be recognized the United Nations Environment Program's highest distinction, which is the UNEP Champion of the Earth. We invite you support the city's programs by calling up your own barangays or our district action offices to start their own gardens, participate in community gardening initiatives, practice mindful consumption, and reduce food waste at source. Get involved in our city's composting activities and advocate for policies that support a circular and sustainable food system. Quezon City is committed to leading the way, inspired by our global partnerships and driven by the passion of our few citizens. Together, we can build a future where food nourishes both our bodies and the planet. We can cultivate sustainable play through circular economy. I look forward to working with you, the Ateneo, to build a truly sustainable food system for Quezon City. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much, and for excellent presentation. Um, I would like to now call on the panelists, and also we have an online audience. I've asked if you have questions, please put in the chat box. So, may I ask the presenters to sit there, and Dr. Tere and Mr. Ayan. We have two panelists. First, Dr. Mayor Marcellus and Dr. Melissa Navarro Vittorio. So I would like to call on our leader in the department to first give the reaction because it's been working actively for the last few years on community resilience innovation. Innovations that transform the distributive and other systems in the community. Thank you.
Thanks, Doc Emma. Again, congratulations to our keynote speakers. It's all very inspiring. So, as a reaction to the presentation, so I prepared just I think 2 pages here. Yeah, just one. Okay, yeah. So, as a resident of Quezon City and also working with poor families, so I recognize the importance of urban agriculture and enhancing food security. And our COVID lockdown studies revealed that those families in poor communities and resettlement who have backyard gardens or container garden did not suffer much from hunger compared with their neighbors who were not practicing such. So they even help in providing vegetables to their friends and families. And another crucial finding in our study is that food insecurity is also a gender issue, especially among poor women, who in the midst of food scarcity, um, especially during the lockdown periods, no, will readily volunteer to eat less in the family so that their children, husband, and sick member of the family can eat more. Thus, if we contribute in making every poor family to be food secured, we're also promoting women's well-being. The initiatives outlined in the presentation of President Tere, who's a good friend of mine, and Mr. Agatep, such as community model farms, the aquaculture, the Quezon City campaign, and making Quezon City University Center for Urban Agriculture and Innovation demonstrate commendable efforts to integrate food production into the urban landscape. And I think it's only Quezon City has this incredible social innovation from food gardens down to the value chain. And notwithstanding, of course, there are several concerns that need further examination to ensure sustainability, resilience, and inclusivity, especially in the context of integrating these programs in the university setting and beyond. Okay. One is food security and sustainability challenges. So urban agriculture is a critical response to food insecurity, but its long-term viability remains uncertain. So while these initiatives address immediate hunger relief, generate employment of people from the margins, connect this with the agripreneurs, sustaining these programs beyond donor or government support is a challenge. To ensure lasting impact, the city must integrate urban agriculture into broader food system strategies, including supply chain resilience, post-harvest processing, and market linkages to be assured of lasting demands. Second is the space for urban gardening and land use conflict. So with the increasing Quezon City population, which now stands at 3.1 million, and around 200,000 are informal settlers, and the thriving estate industry, the competition for urban land remain pressing issue. The urban farming zones may face displacement over time, while the initiative has designated areas for urban agriculture. Stronger policy mechanisms are needed to safeguard these spaces from commercial or residential encroachment. One potential solution is also incorporating vertical farming and hydroponics in underutilized spaces such as rooftops and vacant plots within university campuses, government buildings, and communities have been organized as a collective agripreneurs. Third is the rising heat index and climate resilience in urban farming. So with the increasing temperatures due to climate change, urban farms face significant risks, including lowering crop yields and health hazards for farmers. So strategies such as shaded farming structures, water efficient irrigation, and the introduction of climate resilient crops should be prioritized. And Quezon City University can play a role in researching climate smart agricultural techniques and developing policies that integrate sustainable urban farming into city planning. Fourth is the gender issues in urban farming. Women play a crucial role in urban agriculture, but they often face barriers in land access, financial support, leadership opportunities. Gender sensitive policies for our urban for women farmers should be strengthened, including providing financial assistance for female led urban farms, training programs specifically for women, and protection from gender based discrimination in farming cooperatives or social enterprises. The Quezon City University can again promote gender inclusive research and community outreach programs to ensure equitable access and participation and to generate as well evidence-based research to influence urban agriculture policies and provide capacity building programs for local farmers. And lastly, pathway to engaging women and youth in urban poor communities. The urban poor communities are predominantly feminized due to the scarcity of jobs that accommodate women's household responsibilities and gender roles. Likewise, youth in these areas often dropped out of high school and face limited employment opportunities. And this presents a valuable opportunity to engage women and youth from informal settlements in initiatives that address food security, malnutrition, stunting, and livelihood challenges. However, establishing community-based gardens requires a tailored and intentional approach that goes beyond conventional local level models. This effort must include strategic community organizing, comprehensive training and capacity building programs, behavior change initiatives, and sufficient startup investment. Additionally, dedicated coaching and mentorship is essential to sustaining long-term engagement and success. And while the journey may be challenging, the goal is achievable with the right level of investment, strong political will, and a clear vision. Quezon City's urban farming initiatives are a step in the right direction. But ensuring their long-term sustainability requires a multi-sectoral approach. Universities as centers of learning and innovation have a crucial role to play in enhancing urban agriculture through research, curriculum development, and community engagement. And by integrating urban farming programs within academic institutions and bringing it to urban poor communities, we can create a more resilient, food secure, and inclusive urban environment.
Thank you very much, Dr. Liz, for the excellent remarks that you have just made. Our last panelist, but the prime panelist is my only, my first and only teacher on urban sociology here. And she is what I call our queen of the social sciences. She has lived an impressive life, and I will say, you want to know her, Google her. As I tell my students, Google is your scholar, is your best friend. So, Mary, our model and our icon. Thank you. It's always good to have a student who becomes actually your boss in the end, no? Let me, all the great things have been said, and my colleague Melissa has really brought in the social science dimensions very strongly. So let me just make maybe 3 points very quickly. One, this whole effort shows that a crisis can lead to new ways of thinking that people would not have been willing to go through, and COVID definitely did that. The community gardens and all kinds of art that were established then, have impelled um, changes not only in communities but as well in local government, which recognizes that people have the vitality, and if they have the support, their agency can really expand tremendously. So let's remember that crises, which are often seen as problems, can really become solutions. And that's what this lesson shows. The second, I think I love that the slide with the little children actually looking and themselves working with the ground. As we know, children in cities, how are they going to appreciate nature when they have get so little in touch with it? Let me give a quick example. Is I had a colleague who came to visit me. I live in Antipolo in what used to be a farm. And I said, let's take a walk. We walked around. I said, oh, wow, the people are in bloom. And she was born in Manila, grew up in Manila City. I said, really? That's a Pico tree? I said, yeah, you never saw one. I said, no, where would I see a Pico tree when I live in Malacca? And then I said, how about guava? No, etc. So whatever trees we had, I would show her some palop. She said, but they all look the same. I said, no, they don't look the same. Look at the leaves and so on. But when the young people, especially who grew up in cities and have so little contact with nature as we would love to think of, as we think of it, have the personal experience of planting a seed and seeing it grow into a vegetable which they actually eat and their mother will cook or their father would cook, is a tremendous transformation. And for urban children, especially in poor neighborhoods that they don't get to get out very much, one of the things I saw with the urban community children that we talk to all the time is they want to see the sea. I mean, these are people who live in cities, never get to see the sea or or forest. A forest, what is that for them, and so on. So, and that's the third point then, that to nurture the children's understanding and connection with nature will enable them to become the champions now of a very specialized field, which is urban agriculture, in an urban ecology, climate change, and in the large context. And the third element is if the local government, as we see here, hopefully also national, but especially local, can can make the connection, facilitate the agency that people have the interest when they see there are real possibilities, then you have really um, a city that can become the city that we all want it to be. So I do congratulate all our speakers for their involvement. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really think this is very a fantastic forum to discuss the urban challenges of the food security and what we, in academia, in local government, in the communities can do. So we will now open the floor for question and answers. If you have burning questions, there is a microphone there. Please approach it and direct it to whom you'd like to direct the question. For those in the online, I have not seen any question on the online, so please, if you have, put it in the chat box. Any? Okay. Please identify yourself.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Nino from 2BS Mac, and I come from a first-class agricultural municipality called Santa Catarina in Negros Oriental.
Oh, it's my first third site. And the first video.
And while we're not as developed as Quezon City, I mean, we mainly focus on building farm-to-market roads to promote market of agriculture. My question to both keynote speakers is, how may we be able to learn? It's with a steadily growing population, how may we be able to learn from the policies and projects um, laid out by like model cities like Quezon City?
Correct? Yeah. Yeah, you put it on.
Actually, Quezon City, the Quezon City government actually is open to for benchmarking activities. But if you would ask me based on my experience being with the National Defense College of the Philippines, I think the primary issue in a province is peace and security. Is peace and security. And agriculture can be a means to resolve this peace and security issue by creating this organizing communities to in agriculture.
Maybe one thing that you might want to look into specific to your community is, are there still a strong line that are coming next in terms of farming groups and farming cooperatives and actual farmers? Because the growing need for agriculture in the Philippines is also dwindling. Our farmers are getting older, and at the same time, there is less appreciation with the soil. So I think even those who are in the urban centers have to appreciate that specific linkages have to be made. We call this urban, peri-urban linkages, wherein cities alone cannot be supported by the food that it can produce. Our urban agriculture can only provide home self food consumption, but not really commercial scale. We still have to get this from our local provinces. So at the end of the day, it's really looking at supporting our local farmers and then putting more investments in their not just production, but also looking at the middle part, which is the logistics that they need help also.
Dr. Rene Gallo, my colleague in Dumagan, he has been doing projects in Santa Catalina, so you might want to deepen your relationship.
Especially with the DNR mining operations there.
Okay. Yeah, but these are the challenges. So we've been working with him, so and I know that he has done a lot in Santa Catalina.
If I may follow up what Ian said, and of course to connect this with the comment of Dr. Mary and Dr. Mel here. So you may want to tap your local university or your
Yeah.
local college. Now there's now 134 local colleges and universities. If your city has none, then maybe your local government should establish one. And because the local universities can really work with the government, in this area to train individuals to be interested in agriculture. And for us, the key was really to embed technology. The young individuals like technology, no? And so if they can apply what they're learning in technology into agriculture, they're happy to do that.
Yeah. Your next door neighbor, Bayawan, one going co-op of fish in the mountain to put the protein in the mountain for the so. What I'm saying is there are lots of networks, as Dr. Ture said, so we just link each other and help each other. Okay, thank you very much for your consent. Next.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Alexis Gasuga. I'm from 2AB Sociology. So first of all, congratulations for to the speakers. I found the talk very insightful and inspiring as well. So there's siguro mas contextual question before ito. There's a recurring issue po of oversupply among farmers, and parang there's also a mention po of a food rescue program which ensures na yung mga surplus crops po are don't go to waste. But going back po to the issue of oversupply, yun nga, it has forced a lot of our local farmers as well to lower their prices. For example, if I remember correctly po, dun sa Nueva Ecija, yung 8 peso kada kilo na cabbage, parang naging 3 pesos na lang. So really, like, a lot of our local farmers suffer from this. So siguro, could you provide a more of like a contextual background? Why does oversupply happen? And siguro what has been done and what can be done as well to
Prevent food waste.
to prevent food. Fine.
Actually, that's what we're trying to train our, at least in the urban community farming setting, no? That's what we're trying to train our urban farmers, no? To plan out the produce. That's why we also want to organize all of these 1,400 39 community farms so that we can actually help them and we'll be able to have a design, no, for what they will plant to lessen the oversupply. It's really a matter of organizing it. That's really a dream for us to be able to do at the local university, uh, to manage the supply chain for our farmers by giving them directions on what to produce and how to produce it so that it does not suffer from low prices because there's an oversupply. So it's really controlled. It's really more like controlled farming that we'd like to do for them. That's why we also said we hope that we can be like the depot. So it's going to be like business to business pricing, so that they are not they are not that so that their produce are not going to be undervalued or underpriced, you know. We are able to manage it for them. So it's a challenge of building the community.
Thank you, Dr. Ture. We'll take the last question because we're really terribly out of time. Then we have James, my student in MDR, Master of Disaster Risk Mitigation.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I would like to address the question.
So,
James, lahat.
from what organization?
I'm James, a graduate student of MDRR.
Your institution.
I'm working currently with Kinder No Filtre, an international NGO for children, and I'm into the child-centered DRRM programs and portfolio. I would like to address a question to Dr. Tere and also to Francis. What is or are your approach or strategy employed to transpire and encourage replication of the practices of those technologies on your surrounding communities outside the boundaries of the university and the local government? And what is or how is the buy-in of the households and
Please.
the buy-in of these communities and households?
My students now.
Siguro from the perspective of communities themselves, I think your number one target is the barangays. If they have a better understanding of the city's programs or moreover the national government's programs, it's actually pushing them to create their own activities on their level. Sometimes what they do kasi is they just copy city programs in their own barangays, not thinking that this is the need of them. They can easily check, okay, do I have open lands here? Or do I have flooding here? How can I, as a barangay captain, or how can my council look closer to the needs of my own communities? And sometimes there's a disconnect in trying to link that kind of mindset and sometimes your barangay action plans tend to fall short. And there is that bridge that we have to constantly capacity build, but we can only do so much. So it's really pushing more of our barangays and I call it engaged citizenship. Ask more for your barangays. Ask more from your barangays. Know them. Tingnan natin nyo kung saan yung barangay hall nyo. Tapos tanong nyo sila kung may ganito ba silang programa. And then ask more of them.
Thank you very much in the interest of time because we're very terribly delayed. Thank you very much for our audience online and also for this on site. Thank you for coming and listening to our forum. Now I'd like to have the words of wisdom from our model and icon, Dr. Mel Rastali. Thank you. Well, let me just add maybe one or emphasize one component that we need to think about. That when people start organizing in groups and have interest and will really fight for or struggle for and want this to happen and find that their, whether say local government is not supportive or actually they say, well, wait a minute, you're informal, you don't have any right to do that, etc. That it becomes political. So these issues can become political because it's very general that when government depends on the government, now how authoritarian or not it is, but when they see it as maybe challenging their authority, then it becomes a subject of, they become a problem. Well, we saw that for Quezon City during the pandemic when the community garden movement actually was generated here during the late COVID time. So the significance of all of this is organizing to make the system not only something new and exciting, but become routine in government, and that's what Quezon City is doing, championing new ideas, but forming systems that become part of the bureaucracy in the good sense of bureaucracy. That means that next year it will be in the budget. And even if there's a new mayor who doesn't like this for some reason, it's there. So the routinization of government of community-based initiatives is really crucial as we face this future. So any more so we can have our lunch? Okay. Thank you very much. I'd close this exciting forum and we can continue discussing our lunch. I'd like to call on Tanya, who basically reminded me that community gardens were crucial in the industrialization stage of supporting the wages of the industrial factory owners whose wages were not enough. So food gardens is really crucial. And you can see in Germany now, community gardens are still very much part. In New York, Bette Midler restored all the community gardens. So this should be what Quezon City is doing. It's really just, reinventing what our forefathers, the old people have done. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Emma. Thank you very much for coming here and congratulations and thank you very much for the speakers today. I was really delighted to learn so much and also apply
action, so I can transfer this to our students immediately. And yeah, I will not monologue anymore. We have a lunch together, so you're invited, of course, and we can maybe discuss it furthermore on this base. And online audience, thank you very much for listening. And yeah, then see us next time.